I'm T-Gun. I've been shooting since I was 11 years old. I do part-time keepering. I use this GP greener for my fox control around the pheasant pens. It was made in Birmingham by WW Greener, and it's moderated for subsonic 12-ball cartridges. I use number 4s at close range at foxes. Lever action. The gun is open and clear. I shut the gun. This is the safety. And it's an automatic safety. When you open the gun, the safety rebounds to safe. I use subsonic number 4 cartridges in this gun at close range, 25 yards max. It is very useful around the pens to protect my pheasants. It's a good gun for this as it's quiet and reliable. Because the pheasants are quite expensive and foxes will come into pheasant like dinner bells. They will come from long distances into the pheasants. And if they get into the pheasants, they take nearly all the pheasants.
The length of this, actually up here, people look, that's got to be 30 inches long, that moderator.
30 inches long.
Now, what's the actual reason for having such a long one?
It controls the noise of the cartridge going out.
Yeah.
It's quite quiet. Where a normal shotgun would be quite loud, this is very quiet indeed.
So
subsonic.
What's the use of that, the moderator there? What is it for? Is it sort of...
It quietens the round down.
And you
fire.
And you don't want to disturb, what, the pheasants? Because you're around the pheasant copse.
Yeah, pheasants are very prone when they're firstly put into the pens.
Yeah.
They can disturb and die.
Just from shock?
From shock.
Oh, I've got you, yeah.
If you can keep it as quiet and keep them happy, this does the job. Most of the foxes are short range around the corners of the pens.
That's where they come, is to the corners, eh?
Yeah, the corners or straight down near the pop holes of the pheasant pens.
That's where the pheasants come out, is that right? I've got you now. So what's the actual loading of this? It's a single action. It takes one shotgun cartridge?
It takes one shotgun cartridge. You can take a 2 3/4 inch cartridge.
Okay, and just show us how that feeds in there.
It goes in there.
Yep.
And it shuts like that.
So it's a lever action.
It's a lever action.
So that's a real basic, because it's a lever action and then just straight safety.
That's correct. And the safety is there.
Yep.
And you pull the trigger, it will go off. When you empty
finish your round,
the safety goes back up.
Oh, it's an automatic safety as as that lever moves.
Yep. I repeat. Safety off.
Yep.
Empty the case after firing. Safety goes off.
And is that a sort of old gun, a collector's gun, a specialist gun? How would you describe it?
It's an old single barrel that's been modified with a moderator on.
What sort of year would you put on that one?
This one is around about the 70s.
Oh, so it's relatively old for a gun.
Yeah, it's a modern. It's an old style. It's a proven style.
So it does a job for you, obviously, as gamekeeper.
It does the job.
Okay, now you have got another one down there. Just show us that one as well, and just tell us what that one is. A much thinner...
this is a 410 Mossberg 3-shot with a moderator on.
A lot less moderator. For the size of the cartridge is less, I suppose.
Yeah, this is a lot less. I use this for squirrel and rabbit. Okay.
What about the grain of the shot? What would you put in the cartridge?
After rabbit.
Yeah.
5s or 4s or 5s.
That's a shot size, so people know.
That's a shot size.
Yeah.
I can have a 3-inch cartridge in this.
Yes.
Subsonic.
Yeah.
Cartridges. That makes it really reasonably quiet.
Okay.
A lower velocity.
So it's would you describe that as coming out the gun fast and then slowing? So it's a fast impact zone.
When it comes out.
It's slow when it comes out.
It's slower.
Okay.
But it's quite accurate. Up to 20 yards, 25 yards. it does its job.
And that's close, isn't it? That's quite. You've got to get quite close.
Yeah.
What sort of situation is that? What you would call walk-in shooting?
Yeah, I use it for rabbit with the ferrets, so I don't disturb the ferrets too much.
Yeah.
And other rabbits.
So it's a dog. Would you work it with a dog, or is it generally ferrets or rabbits?
I work it with the ferrets and nets.
Yeah.
When I've lost one from the nets, I can use this.
I've got
to take them out.
So generally, that rabbit and ferrets, you would grab the rabbit in the net,
grab the rabbit,
dispatch it there.
Correct.
But should one run off and get out the net or miss, the ferrets are chasing it, or whatever, then you can finish with the gun.
Yes, right.
So how does that one work? Is it a single cartridge again?
This is 3 cartridges. I'll push the safe. It's clear.
Yep.
Push it forward. Put 3 cartridges in.
Yes.
Or 2 cartridges in there. Put one in. Put another one in. You've got 3 in there.
So the 3, just the people that watch this but obviously aren't into guns, they come up in the chamber here. They're fed up in there.
The magazine here.
Yeah.
From the base up there into the magazine.
Yeah.
When the gun is fired, the safety's there. That's on at the moment. But you can, when you fire, that recycles into the next round.
Gotcha.
And you recycle again. That's the 3rd round gone.
Okay. Now, just looking at some of your guns, I did notice on shotguns, they don't have, and I don't know, do they call it a foresight? They just have a little pip on the tip.
A bead, yeah.
A bead on the top. And I think you were saying that they don't actually need the bead at the end.
If the gun fits you, you won't need a bead. You just point it. You mount the gun.
Yep.
And shoot at what you're shooting at. Because all you see is the item you're shooting at. If it's clays, you get in front of the clay, you shoot the clay.
Yep.
If it's a rabbit, you get in front of the rabbit, you shoot the rabbit.
What sort of spread on a shot would you get on a rabbit that's static? When you say 25 yards, how wide does that shot come out?
The shot wide is, it all depends what shot you're using and what choke you got on the gun, but it can be just over 30 inches.
So it's quite a big. It opens up a lot.
It opens up quite a bit.
Yeah.
It all depends what gun you're using and what, but the average is about 30 inches.
Are there other ranges of gauges guns that you could use for this?
Oh yes, yes. You've got the 12, you've got 16, and you've got a 28. As this one's a Ford 10, point Ford 10.
And what sort of wood and that? Just talk us through the actual manufacture of the gun.
This is beech, but majority of English guns or good quality guns are made of walnut.
Walnut will be a traditional wood?
That's a traditional gun stock.
And of course, got to better point out to everybody that you're fully licensed to carry shotguns.
Yes.
And also, you used to do instruction as well?
Yes, I used to do instruction. I've been shooting since I was about 11. You have under, put the safety back on, underneath you have a leaf so you can recycle without pulling the trigger. You can empty the round out like that. You can actually recycle and chuck the rounds out, or you can push the lever inside and that will allow the live rounds to come out without going into the chamber.
So that's not an auto eject then? It's a manual. Would you call it a manual eject?
It's automatic eject when you
recycle. Yeah.
When you fired, it will chuck out at the side.
Up at the end there, on the end of the barrel, you've got the moderator there. What exactly does it do? What's the principle? How does it work? What does it do?
It controls the gases, and instead of making a loud bang, it controls the noise from the barrel. It reduces the actual sound.
Now, on, let's say, TV, we see a sniper. He's got a short one. This, the last 2 guns you're showing us, one's got an enormous moderator on it. Is that because it's a shotgun?
Yeah. This is because it's a shotgun. Because the shotguns are hard to quieten
dampen down.
You need subsonic cartridges with these to really get the full use out of them, and that will give they are slightly slower and they're built slightly different to an ordinary cartridge, but you still can use ordinary cartridges in them, but they will be slightly louder. You can use in the 410 3-inch cartridges, 2.5 and 2-inch. Give you an explanation on the 2-inch. It's used for rats, close range. With this moderated shotgun, it's very good in close quarters. You don't need earmuffs if you're using the right ammunition. You've got 2.5, normally used out a bit farther, 20 yards, at rabbit, squirrel, whatever, or vermin, and you've got the 3-inch. That's the longest they do in 410. It's a cracking gun for small vermin and rabbit. Most youngsters start with a 410 and then work up through the different calibers.
So the length of the cartridge is actually to take a little bit more powder for a bit more kick.
More powder and more shot.
Same bore, different length of cartridge.
Correct.
Best way to store those?
Is dry in a box.
Yeah.
Keep them in the box they come in and keep them dry.
Okay.
With the bread, anywhere you go, you should put them in a safe, secure lockage, so you can lock them away from prying hands. These can be carried in your pocket, separated from any other gauge. You can have these in belts, boxes in your pocket. They are not very heavy. They're a cracking little gun. The 12 gauge, as we got here, in Britain, if you're game shooting, you need non-toxic for duck or 5s and 6s for pheasant. These can be in your pocket, in a bag, or like this in a belt for ease of use. You can get 2-inch cartridges in the 12, 2.5, 2 3/4, and 3-inch and 3.5-inch. But majority of guns in this country are 2.5 to 2 3/4. The 410's a good starter gun without the moderator, because these are, I use these for vermin control and mainly pest control and vermin control around the farms and buildings. For the 410, it's a good starting gun. You should go to a competent shooting expert or shooting coach. It gives you a good understanding of safety. You must have the safety for the youngsters. They can start maybe on clays or on a farm with someone who's experienced. Then they can graduate up to larger shotguns at a later date. But I would advise first off to go clay shooting with a clay coach.